changed their minds and decided to stay on was PTL spokesman and former Bakker security guard Don Hardister.
Myself and about 15 of my closest friends that I associate here with the ministry, we were all leaving with him. I mean, Dr. Falwell said he was leaving and we were prepared to leave. But with his appeal during the staff meeting, we have all reconsidered and we will stay and try to keep the thing going.
One PTL partner I spoke with was convinced that PTL will survive, but she had one major reservation.
It will go on, but we don't want Jim Bakker back. I want everybody to know I don't want Jim Bakker back. Nobody does, not even the staff.
But over at the offices of the Bring Bakkers Back organization, there was rejoicing today, as supporters there were convinced that today's events marked the beginning of the Bakkers' return.
At 9:30, we had some people come in, said the Lord told them to bring a cake and some coffee, and we started our party. We've had over 1,000 calls.
We are ready to go at any time, anywhere, to restore our baby.
Our family has sacrificed a lot to build Heritage USA, and I want to go home.
And so, as they have been so many times since Jim Bakker resigned last March, people on all sides of this ministry are once again in a state of turmoil.
Reverend Falwell predicts that Bakker will return and says that if he does, he'll be the, quote, the greatest scab and cancer on the face of Christianity in the past 2,000 years, end quote. But for now, Jim Bakker will have to wait. A court official said he'll not appoint Bakker as trustee while the PTL Club is reorganizing. From Pat Robertson today, an admission that his son was conceived out of wedlock. The Robertson says the revelation won't hurt his GOP presidential campaign because supporters will forgive him. And so once again, the media has taken dead aim on a candidate's past. Tonight, Barry Cunningham looks at the character question.
It was Pat Robertson's turn to defend his presidential resume today. The TV evangelist turned Republican candidate correcting misstatements that he had done graduate work at the University of London when he had taken only a summer arts course, and claiming he was a member of the board of directors of United Virginia Bank when he was merely a local advisor.
This current political climate that we're in, would you concede that you at least have the appearance of being a liar?
No, I won't concede that one bit, because I don't know what you're referring to in terms of changing things in my resume. I sent out a resume about a year ago from my political campaign, and I stand by every single word that was in it. It is absolutely accurate.
The most embarrassing disclosure in the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post that Robertson had fathered his first child out of wedlock. The son, the first of 4 children, born 10 weeks after Robertson was married on August 27, 1954.
As I said to the reporter, we celebrate March 22nd, 1954 as the date our marriage began, and we have celebrated that. And in to my wife and I, that is exactly the date we celebrate. And I frankly, again, find it terribly intrusive to see what is being claimed on this. But I don't know what else this proves, but I'd be glad to answer somebody else's question.
Political analysts said that Robertson, who preaches abstinence before marriage, would be hurt but not mortally wounded by the disclosure.
If you're going to lie about something, the most honest and acceptable lie you can think of is to protect your children.
In the search for the perfect president this election season, hardly a day goes by without the media focusing on some purported character blemish. On the Democratic side, the disclosure of the day was that the Reverend Jesse Jackson has been hired as a paid spokesman for a national chain of business schools. The New York Education Department has ordered a halt to newspaper and TV ads saying they make misleading statements. All of this raises again the question of how far the media should go in holding a moral microscope up to presidential contenders.
Do you think the American people want a perfect president?
I think that they probably would appreciate a president with certain blemishes. They might think he's more human.
The candidates themselves have said they're running for the presidency, not for sainthood. But as the character issue continues to sink one presidential ambition after another, the question remains, is the media sacrificing qualified applicants for the job in search only of someone with a halo to hold the highest office in the land? In Washington, this is Barry Cunningham.
Meantime, in Scotland, they are thrill seekers, and they're searching for the Loch Ness Monster. Fanning out in motorboats, they set up a curtain of sound today, hoping their sophisticated sonar equipment will turn up some sign of Nessie. Organizers are calling it the most thorough search ever for the fabled beast, and that they'll be delighted even if Nessie turns out to be a very large fish. Still ahead on USA Tonight, the king of the hill in amateur baseball, one-handed pitcher, Jim Abbott.
At Citicorp, we believe it takes people with vision to help people with dreams. So many of our people come from fields beyond banking. Untypical bankers, untypical thinking has made us America's largest financial services company. As Citicorp and Citibank, we're already helping 1 in 5 American families. We'd like you to get to know us better. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Mom, send $500 soon, or there won't be a honeymoon.
I'm calling about your son, Jerome. Better send money. He wants to go home.
早く送ってくれないか。スピード違反でパクられた。
To send someone money fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our 10,000 locations, usually in 15 minutes or less.
Sayonara.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
How long have you had TV Guide in your home?
Since the original issue.
How many times have you had to call a repairman for the TV Guide?
Call the repairman for TV Guide? Never. Never. It's always been in excellent shape. I keep trading them in week after week. It's got to be good.
Buy TV Guide. It's the best thing on television.
And it's in a nice covered thing, you know.
Yeah. You cover your TV Guide?
Yeah, it's very fine fabric. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful
You think we'd
fabric.
put TV Guide in anything but a fine fabric? No way.
Wouldn't it be great if shopping for a car was as easy as going to your supermarket? A large variety to choose from and everything on sale at one location. When you shop at the Berwyn-Ogden New Car District, you'll find that same convenience. 6 new car dealers, Buick, Chevrolet, Dodge, Ford, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Saab. One familiar street, Ogden Avenue in Berwyn, famous for the land of savings and service. If you're in the market for a car or truck, shop today at the land of savings and service. The Big 6 in Berwyn between Harlem and Ridgeland on Ogden in Berwyn.
If you want to save on appliances, video equipment, and stereo components, this is the weekend. Because this is the weekend Highland Superstores has slash prices on many appliances, TVs, VCRs, and stereo components. For 2 days only, Friday and Saturday, save on a GE 19-inch color TV with automatic color system, just $185. If you want to save money on appliances, video equipment, and stereo components, this is the weekend to do it. Highland, nobody gives you more, and nobody but nobody sells for less.
USA Tonight's Health Beat, brought to you by Tristan.
Last night, Jeff Kamen reported on an unapproved drug called hydrazine sulfate that seems to be having a remarkable effect on his mother. It's not a cure, but the drug has eliminated the pain of her terminal cancer. Tonight, Jeff looks at why hydrazine sulfate has been dismissed as ineffective and why doctors and cancer patients have had to be their own advocates in forcing the government to take a second look.
Isn't it a cold head?
Actually, it's actually a warm head you got here.
Doomed to an abbreviated lifespan by her cigarette smoking and resulting cancers, my mother's desperate condition took a sudden dramatic change for the better only 24 hours after she began taking the experimental drug hydrazine sulfate. That was in August. My dad says he first heard of the drug last March and called the federal government to check on it.
The National Cancer Institute, when I made contact into their medical division, and they told me that it had no merit.
I can't account for information that is available from all corners of the Institute.
The fact is, for more than 5 years, the government has been telling the world that hydrazine does not work. Only now does Dr. Wittes admit that it was wrong to disparage the drug after several scientific studies demonstrated that hydrazine sulfate can stop dying cancer patients from wasting away, can eliminate pain, and for some, extend life and improve quality of life. But
from the details of the data that I've seen from the most recent studies, I'm unprepared to take a position right here that the drug should be released for controlled use
by terminal patients.
By terminal patients, or whether the agent should simply be emphasized more than it has been for prospective clinical trials, or none of the above. because I want to see more about the data than I have up till present.
But data from UCLA Medical School studies of about 200 dying cancer patients has been available to the National Cancer Institute for more than 3 years. What does the data reveal?
It's theoretically possible for this large group involving hundreds of thousands of patients that hydrazine could be effective.
The studies are small. The placebo-controlled studies would indicate that for some of those patients, life seems to be easier. For others are not helped.
So on that basis alone, why have you not leaped upon the hard data, done your own analysis, and moved quickly?
Well, if one has to choose between the in the process of allocation of resources, and one always does, our choice would always be toward treatment that has what we consider to be an enhanced probability of resulting in tumor control, rather than simply symptomatic improvement.
I think the results that I've seen are conclusive enough for me to say that the data are that hydrazine sulfate is doing good things for some cancer patients, not all by any means. And therefore that means let's test it further.
Because it is still an experimental drug, hydrazine sulfate is not available at your local pharmacy. In fact, the only way that terminal cancer patients can have access to hydrazine is by having their physicians contact the drug's developer, Dr. Joseph Gold at the Syracuse, New York Cancer Research Institute. This is Jeff Kamen in Washington.
USA Tonight's Health Beat, brought to you by Dristan.
There are over 500,000 doctors in America, and they catch colds just like you. So, which cold medicine would doctors take for their own achy colds, with congestion and sneezing? In a nationwide survey for their own achy colds, more doctors said they take the formula in Dristan than the formulas in Sudafed, Actifed, and Dimetap combined.
I'm going to take what doctors would take. Wouldn't you?
Dristan, with the formula more doctors would take.
It's a brand new day. Now here's a brand new coffee to get you on your way.
New Taster's Choice Colombian Select with half the caffeine.
Get a full cup of flavor with only half the caffeine. The kind of coffee you'll savor from all Colombian beans.
New Colombian Select, rich, real coffee with just half the caffeine.
A full cup of flavor, only half the caffeine.
New Taster's Choice Colombian Select.
People prefer Raisin Nut Bran 2-to-1 over Kellogg's and Post Raisin Brands. You'll kick yourself for not trying it sooner. Ouch! It's the only one with raisins rolled in crushed almonds. Try the best tasting Raisin Bran, Raisin Nut Bran.
I like Wheaties because they're just like running backs, crispy when you crunch them.
I like Wheaties because they're just like linemen. They got no sweetness packed in.
Go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
The man the FBI says committed the third most robberies in history is dead tonight, but he had another claim to fame that led to his unusual nickname. Lou Herbert reports on the Gentleman Bandit.
For 4 years, this is how police knew him. A grainy image at a teller's window wearing a ball cap, sporting a mustache and wig, and wielding a gun. So polite, he was pegged the Gentleman Bandit, and threw out 48 bank robberies in 7 states over 4 years, netting $400,000. The M.O. was always the same.
He walked in, announced in a very calm and gentlemanly-like voice that, ladies, this is a robbery, and proceeded to rob the bank.
Yesterday, at this savings and loan in suburban Denver, it looked like the 49th robbery was about to happen.
Entered the bank. He used a very similar M.O., announced, ladies, this is a robbery, put all your money up front. In this case, unfortunately, this individual was challenged by an off-duty Denver police officer who, when the gun was turned on him, fired.
The suspect was rushed to the hospital. His common trademarks were left at the scene, including a red bicycle. Soon agents had an ID. Melvin Dellinger, 34 years of age, seen here in a Colorado driver's license photo. He lived in this modest one-story house in Denver. His neighbors couldn't believe the stories they were hearing about the man they say was a nice guy.
It's the most unbelievable thing in the world. Most of the people in this neighborhood are professionals, and we travel quite a bit. And Mel was always the guy that we had watch our houses when we were away because he always was home for some reason.
It was during the night that Melvin Dellinger died here at Swedish Hospital. Before his death, FBI agents were able to talk with him. That's when they got his name. But what else he might have told the agents about himself or his past activities is still not being revealed. FBI agents say the investigation is continuing. They were asked whether his wife might be involved.
As far as we can determine as of this time, there is no information to indicate that she did know what he was involved in.
The agents are also hesitant to admit that Dellinger was, in fact, the gentleman bandit, but Dellinger's photo on the left and a robbery photo show a striking resemblance. And the FBI is quick to point out that they no longer expect any more robberies by the gentleman bandit. In Denver, Lou Hebert reporting.
Well, the book won't even be out till next spring, but already people are lining up for their piece of the action. Mary Beth Whitehead, the surrogate mother of baby M, has agreed to write her story of the court battle over custody of her daughter. Sources say she'll get an advance of $95,000, but her own lawyers are only some of the people who may have claims on any money Miss Whitehead earns. Lawyers for the father of baby M also want Miss Whitehead to pay part of their expenses.
No interest payments until April 1st, and incredible 3-for-1 savings are yours now at DeSinkers District Furniture and Appliances. Buy this brand name Westinghouse refrigerator at just $8.88, and we'll include this Roper range and glass dinette set free, plus no interest payments for 6 months. This beautiful Zenith 25-inch color TV is discounted to $7.88. The double speaker stereo and video player are yours free, and with 6 months to pay, interest free. You'll want to shop today at any of the 5 DeSinkers District Furniture and Appliance centers. No interest payments until April 1st.
The 88s are here. Immediate discounts, immediate delivery at Burt Wyman Ford. Save on full-size Comfort All, Have Air All full price. Like this 1985 Ford Crown Victoria for $89.88. Save on this 1982 Lincoln Town Car, only $69.88. Save on this 1979 Ford Thunderbird Town Landau with power moonroof, only $29.88 at Chicago's #1 Ford dealer, Burt Wyman Ford, 3535 North Ashland.
Winter allergies and colds. The sneezing and congestion can make you feel miserable. For relief, discover Benadryl Decongestant, combining Benadryl with the decongestant found in the leading cold medication, Benadryl Decongestant.
The Greenland Eskimos. Studies link their low incidence of heart disease to a fish diet rich in omega-3. Only Promega, cholesterol-free Promega, has the highest percentage concentration of natural omega-3. All natural, more omega-3, cholesterol-free.
Tom Raper, Richmond, Indiana, announces a spectacular RV show every day.
Under one roof in the newest, largest RV showroom in the Midwest.
Why? Look at brochures.
Why wait for once-a-year shows?
When you can shop at your leisure.
Out of the weather.
Variety and selection at low, low prices.
All under one roof.
The newest, largest RV showroom in the Midwest. Tom Raper's.
It's absolutely worth the drive to Richmond.
I-70 to exit 149A. Tom Raper, Richmond, Indiana.
Mobile homes.
Sectional homes.
Truck caps, $99.
Multi-million-dollar inventory.
Open till 8.
Closed Sunday.
USA Tonight, brought to you by Nescafe.
And finally tonight, they say a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. But Frank Casey found a new kind of American hero, Jim Abbott, who says there's no sense in being second best.
The Golden Spikes Award is presented annually by the United States Baseball Federation to the outstanding amateur baseball player in the country, based on athletic ability, sportsmanship, and character. Jim Abbott of Flint, Michigan, fits the bill to a T.
To be selected as D1 player, I don't think it's hit me yet.
Pitching for the USA team this past summer, Abbott helped lead them to a silver medal in the Pan Am Games. He was also the winning pitcher in this exhibition game in Cuba. The 6'3", 200-pound southpaw has a rifle arm but only one hand. Born without a right hand, he learned to do with one hand what others have learned to do with two. Catching a baseball was a maneuver he mastered as a kid with the help of his father.
Sort of catch the ball with the glove and turn it, cradle the ball, grab it, continue to balance the glove here, and then throw with your left hand and slide the glove back on.
His record at the University of Michigan is 17-5. He has won just about every pitching award the state has to offer. He has been called remarkable, inspirational, and courageous. His parents and younger brother, he says, call him Jim. He never felt handicapped.
I didn't really overcome anything. I just loved to play baseball, and I learned it a little differently than, say, you did or somebody else, but I love to play.
The University of Michigan junior still dreams of making it in the big leagues. He was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays and after college he will give it a try. If he fails, he says, he will always have the satisfaction of knowing he went as far as his ability could take him. I'm Frank Casey reporting.
And that is USA Tonight. I'm Brad Holbrook. Thanks very much for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.